Welcome. I am Adina Wancha, and I guide high achieving men and women create extraordinary lives and loving, ecstatic relationships. The intention of this podcast is to empower both men and women when it comes to life, dating, relationships, and intimacy. I believe that by both men and women being healthy, powerful, and loving, we can be in thriving partnerships and create a better world together. If this is something you resonate with, then please keep listening. In this episode, I wanted to speak about how to lose weight in a healthy way and keep it off because this is something I struggled with in my adolescence, and I know this is something many people struggle with too. And the truth is that how we look affect our self-esteem, and when you look good, you also feel better about yourself. Feeling good makes you exude confidence, which is very attractive. So, if you're currently dating or you are in a relationship and you have some weight or a lot of weight that you would like to lose and keep off, then please keep listening. Disclaimer: I am not a doctor and this is not medical advice. Always seek the guidance of your doctor or other qualified health professional with any questions you may have regarding your health or a medical condition. Never disregard the advice of a medical professional or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard here. Before going deeper into this theme, I would like to share my own story with losing weight and keeping it off because I want you to see that it is possible. I do not look good because it's natural to me. I am fit because I've disciplined myself to do certain things and stop doing others. And if I could do it, so can you because I am not special. As a child, I used to be very skinny as I was never hungry and I didn't eat that much. However, once I hit puberty, I started gaining some weight. And by the time I went to high school, so I was around 14 years old, I had around 10 kilograms, which is around 20 pounds, more than I would have liked. I am petite, and any extra kilogram shows on my body. I do not have the luxury to gain weight without starting to look chubby. I've never wanted to be skinny. I just wanted to look my best. I am saying this because I know many people, especially adolescent girls, want to be very skinny. And I want to clarify that I believe in being healthy and fit, and that extremes, meaning being too skinny or too fat, are neither healthy or fit. Throughout high school, I would lose the weight during the school year and then put it back in the summer holiday because in the summer I was living with my parents and my mother cooks a lot, especially cakes. And I love sugar and cakes. I mean, who doesn't? If there were no negative consequences, all I would eat would be pasta and cakes. Once I started university, I wanted to lose the weight as I was now a young adult and I wanted to go out on dates, have a boyfriend, and I felt insecure because of my weight. Although 10 kilograms is not a lot of weight, I am petite and I don't look that good with extra kilograms, at least according to my standards. And this was 16, 17 years ago. There wasn't as much free information on losing weight as it is now. But I knew that meat kept me satiated for a longer time, and that to lose weight, I had to stop eating bread, cookies, cakes, and all the things with sugar. And that is what I did. Oh, and I also did another thing. My last meal was before 6 p.m., and my first meal would be around 10 a.m. So I intuitively started intermittent fasting, although I had never heard of it before. It's just something I did because it felt right to me. Also, I would do short workouts like 15, 20 minutes once every other day. I was not a fitness fanatic. I still am not. But training regularly definitely helps. And it worked. In a few months, I lost the weight and I kept doing the things that helped me lose the weight to keep it off. Meaning, Eat mostly home cooked meals, low sugar intake, low bread, pasta, rice, potatoes intake. I have never been a fan of soft drinks. I know many people struggle with losing weight because they drink all sort of stuff that has sugar in it. I see beverages that have calories as food, so I do not drink them. I mostly drink water. Now, let's get deeper into the psychology of getting fat and losing weight. Being overweight, and here I don't mean that you have a few extra kilograms. I'm referring to having lots of kilograms in excess and being obese, shows first and foremost that you are not healthy physically, mentally, and emotionally. If you ingest too much of the unhealthy foods and beverages, you are doing that largely because of two reasons. Reason number one, you lack discipline and you eat anything anytime because it's easier to do that than to control what you put into your body. And reason number two, because there is a subconscious emotional reason, and you are using food to avoid feeling an unpleasant emotion or to deal with something you do not like about yourself or your life. Our bodies are not created to eat all the time or to eat so much food as many people eat or to thrive on foods many people eat nowadays, which are very rich in carbohydrates, sugars, and unhealthy fats. Now, these foods taste very good. I know that. So, if your first choice when it comes to food is to eat something that tastes very good and gives you a good feeling, let me ask you, what sucks in your life? What are you unhappy with? What would you wish it were different? When we are unhappy with ourselves and our lives, we find various ways to get some happiness, and even very short happiness will do. But the problem is that when you eat these foods in order to feel better, they indeed give you a very short term boost of relaxation, energy, and feeling good. But on the medium and long term, they make you unhealthy and fat. So, your main problem is not that you are fat, is that you are unhealthy. And this is not to say that that people with normal weight are all healthy, because that is not the case. However, it's easier to stay healthier when your weight is normal. I am not a promoter of being skinny or of starvation. I cannot starve myself. If my body needs food, I need to eat. How I maintain my weight is by being disciplined when it comes to what I eat. And 80-90% of your weight is given by what you eat, not how much exercise you do. So if you're listening to this and you think that, but Adina, I cannot lose weight because I don't have the time to work out or do a lot of physical exercise. Well, let me tell you that I am a very lazy person. I work out like 15, 20 minutes every other day, and sometimes there are weeks when I don't work out at all. But my weight is pretty much constant. And that is because I regulate my weight from what I eat, not from exercise. I exercise because my body needs movement and because I like it more how I look when I am toned. And I said all of this because some of you use the excuse of not having time to go to the gym. You do not need to go to the gym to lose weight. You need to eat certain foods and stop eating others. And if you don't like or have time to work out, then walk every day. It's free and anyone can find 20, 30 minutes in their day to walk. I believe that being healthy is a moral obligation, first to ourselves and secondly to our family and loved ones. So if you don't want to lose weight for yourself because you use food as a way to feel better, because you struggle with something in your life, then do it for your partner or your kids. And if you don't have a partner or kids, then do it for your next partner and kids. And if you think, oh, I am too fat, who want to be in a relationship with me? Then let me give you some tough love and tell you, lose the freaking weight. Because, yes, the dating world is cruel. You will be judged by the way you look. And if you're fat, you won't have as many opportunities to meet great people as you do if you are fit. And personally, I do not believe in this crap of love yourself at any weight. Because we all know that being overweight or obese comes with health problems. Those people who promote self love by accepting unhealthy lifestyle and being fat actually promote disease and self hate. If you truly loved yourself, wouldn't you want to be healthy and fit? When you are healthy, you can enjoy life more. When you look good, you also feel better. So let's stop lying to ourselves and let's face the reality. Being unhealthy and unfit is not beautiful and fun. It's problematic and self destructive. So, again, your biggest problem is not that you are fat, is that you are unhealthy. Here is what being fat says about your psyche and what your subconscious inner talk is. I hate myself and my life, and I'm using food to feel better about myself. I have a low level of self esteem and I do not respect myself, which means that I also allow other people to disrespect me and even abuse me because I believe I am worthless. So if I am worthless, no one will want me and no one will love me because I don't even want or love me. So why bother staying fit and looking good? But the root of being unhealthy is that you don't take good care of yourself. Largely, you know what you need to do to be healthy. So why don't you do it? You don't do it because you believe you are worthless. And as someone who has struggled with feeling worthless all their life, what I can tell you is that there are two types of people on this planet. The ones who believe that they are worthless if they aren't loved by other people, and the ones who believe they are worthless if they are unsuccessful and don't make money. I used to have both of these beliefs. Which ones do you have? What do you chase more? People and relationships or achievements and money? Which one of these do you wish to have, but you really hate that you do not have? For me, it took years of deep inner work and to stop feeling worthless. This is not necessarily something that is transcended easily, but it is possible. Now, the good news is that you can feel worthless and still take good care of yourself. This is something I've done, and what I've discovered throughout the process is that I started feeling worthy and valuable the more care I took of myself. And here I am not talking about the shallow care like painting nails and getting a haircut, because these are not the most important things. I am talking about the deep care for my body, mind, and soul. I am talking about making the effort of eating right and exercising even when I didn't feel like. Going deep into my subconscious and seeing my own patterns and limiting beliefs. Stopping self destructive behaviors. Being more compassionate with myself because, yes, I am my biggest and fiercest critic. No one can tear me apart like I can do. So, loving yourself is a process that includes various areas of yourself, and you can always go to the next level of self love. I am working on loving myself even deeper. And for example, me recording this and putting it out there is a way of loving and caring for myself. So again, Truly loving yourself is a lifelong process which you can always get better at. Now, let's talk about motivation. You need to understand that in order to change your eating habits and lose weight and keep it off in the long term, you need to have a good level of inner motivation. When I decided to lose the weight, it was because I wasn't happy with how I looked. I knew I could look better, so I was motivated by my desire to become the best looking version of myself. And this still motivates me to this day. This and being healthy, as health and beauty are two of my most important life values. So, for you to be able to go through the challenging process of changing your eating habits, you need to find your why. And your why can't be because your mom, your partner, or your friends say you should lose some weight. It needs to come from within. So, what would motivate you to lose weight and keep it off? Being healthier, looking better, feeling better about yourself? The hard truth is that being overweight shows that you are unhealthy either on physical, mental, or emotional level. And this is why I'm saying this. Our bodies are not created to be fat. If you are to look at depiction of humans from thousands of years ago, they were fit. There weren't fat people in the tribes. Why? First of all, they didn't have so much food available as we do now. Today we have too much unhealthy food everywhere. And we don't even need to leave the house to get it because you can have it delivered to your door. Humans used to eat what they hunted, and once agriculture started around 10,000 years ago, they still didn't have food available all the time. There were years in which the crops were smaller than in other years. And throughout history, there have been famine periods. However, in most of the countries today, there is an abundance of food, not a scarcity. So it's harder today to be healthy and fit than it used to be. That is why you need to discipline yourself. Just because you're hungry doesn't mean that you can eat anything. And just because you crave something doesn't mean you can eat it every day. I am going to say this again. Just because you're hungry doesn't mean that you can eat anything. And just because you crave something, it doesn't mean that you can eat it every day. And another thing, just because something is edible, it doesn't mean that it's also nutritious. You need to start differentiating before good foods and bad foods. Eating fast food, pizza, cakes, drinking soda may calm your hunger for a few hours, but they won't nourish your body. And there is a big difference between eating and being nourished. Foods that nourish our bodies either come from the ground or eat what lives on the ground, and they contain mostly proteins and healthy fats. Protein is an essential macronutrient, but not all sources of protein are created equal. The best form of protein comes from animals. And trust me, if it were possible to be vegetarian and be healthy, I would do it. And I have actually done it for a few years, and it led me to extreme fatigue and burnout. I wasn't functioning anymore. I was tired all the time. Being vegetarian doesn't work for my body. And once I reintroduced more meat in my diet, I started feeling better, especially beef. Beef is not bad for you. It's one of the healthiest foods out there. That is why it also is one of the most expensive ones. Compare the price of 1 kilogram of ribeye and 1 kilogram of pizza. Which one costs more? Do you think that beef is more expensive because it's scarce in nutrients and it's bad for you? Have you noticed that beef is one of the more expensive dishes at the restaurant? Start thinking logically about what you eat. If it's cheap and you can find it easily anywhere, most likely it's not nutritious and not good for you. The foods that are most nutritious are also the most expensive one. But the good news is that you don't need a lot of quantity to feel satiated. For example, I can eat at one meal a portion of pasta, which is around 500 grams, a pizza, which usually weighs around 1 kilogram, and dessert, which usually weighs around 200 grams. And in a few hours, I will get hungry. I've done this and I'm speaking from experience. I can eat a lot when it comes to carbohydrates and sugar. However, it's impossible for me to eat the same quantity of foods high in proteins and healthy fats. And if you don't believe me, try it for yourself. Buy 1 kilogram of meat and try eating it in one meal. You won't be able to do that. I can promise you. There are foods that satiate you, and there are foods that create more hunger and cravings. Foods that are high in proteins and healthy fats will keep you feel satiated and will give you energy for a longer time. And foods that are high in carbohydrates, sugar, and unhealthy fats will create even more hunger and cravings. At the end of the day, losing weight, staying fit and healthy is about self responsibility. It's about you saying to yourself, I decide to be responsible with what I eat and how I look. And I decide that I'm going to do the things that help me look good and stay healthy for the rest of my life. And this means that I'm going to discipline myself and do the hard work of not eating certain foods and eating the foods that keep me fit and healthy. This is what I did when I decided to lose the 10 kilograms I was carrying in excess. I decided I wanted to look better and be healthy for the rest of my life. Was it easy? Not necessarily, but it was worth it. And the best things in life aren't necessarily obtained easily. They are achieved through hard work. The inner work of self transformation and inner growth, and the outer work of taking new actions and making better decisions. So, my question for you is, what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who takes the easy path in life but is unhealthy, unhappy, and poor? Or do you want to be someone who does the hard things in life but consciously creates the optimal version of their body and their life? At the end of the day, it is your decision. And to sum things up, here are some things you can take a deeper look at so you lose weight in a healthy way and keep it off. Point number one, why do you want to lose the weight? The reason needs to be connected to one of your values, and it needs to be related to your health, your well being, your happiness, your self respect, you becoming a better version of yourself. If the reason is connected to something from your exterior, you may be able to start the process, but you won't be able to sustain it. You'll either give up or you'll lose the weight and then put it back on. So find your why. Why do you want to lose the weight? Point number two. What will be the consequences of you not losing the weight and getting fit? And I want you to list the physical consequences like diabetes, heart disease, infertility, asthma, shorter lifespan, and worse quality of life. Person who is overweight and thinks they can do anything a person with a normal weight can is just lying to themselves. You can't. Not because you are inherently incapable, Just because your body isn't healthy or carries too much extra weight, it is very hard for you to do certain things with it. Emotional consequences. Aren't you tired of looking in the mirror and feeling crappy about yourself? Is this how you want to keep feeling? I think that people who spread the message of love yourself at any size are just lying to themselves. It's very hard to love yourself when you look bad, let's be honest. Mental consequences like self hate. Here is an uncomfortable truth: you hate yourself and your body. Overeating is a self destructive behavior. Someone who is obese and says that they love their body and accepts themselves as they are is just full of BS. They're lying to themselves. We are not created to just love our bodies as they are. And I want to make a distinction here. I am not talking about things that are out of our control, like, for example, being born with a physical disability or getting a disability as a result of an injury or of an accident. No. What I'm talking about here is some things that are in our control. We have an inner critic for a reason, to keep us in check, to make sure we stay healthy and fit, to make sure we can live a good and fulfilling life, to make sure we can reproduce and keep the life going on this planet. Because I don't know if you are aware of this, but people who are overweight and obese can't really reproduce. And why is that? Well, our bodies aren't meant to reproduce when we are unhealthy. The reproductive function shuts down if you are not healthy. And the truth is that on this planet, mostly the strongest ones get to reproduce. Look what happens in nature. Only the strongest animals get to make babies and keep the species going. If an animal is sick, it will get eaten and will not keep reproducing. Nature wants us to take in the future only the best genes. So it takes the unhealthy people out of the game. If you want to make babies, then start getting healthier. Point number 3: your weight and how you feel about yourself affects your relationships. Many people who have weight problems are either single or they're not very happy in their relationships. Your weight will make some people stay away from you. The truth is that we like more the people who take care of their bodies than the ones who don't. So if you're currently single, you need to lose the weight to have better chances at finding a mate. Yes, I can sit here and tell you, just find someone who loves you how you are. Well, I don't believe in that BS. We are supposed to change, and we are supposed to become the best version of ourselves. This is the purpose of life. So drop the weight if you want to date better and feel better about feeling yourself while you're dating. Because it's one thing to date while you hate yourself and abuse yourself with food, and completely another thing to date when you love yourself and you take care of yourself. And if you are in a relationship, this doesn't mean that you get to stop taking care of yourself. Have you noticed that since you gain more weight, you don't feel as sexy? That you're not in the mood for intimacy as much? That you feel less lovable? That you have less self confidence? Maybe you're even thinking that your partner could be interested in other people and you're feeling insecure in your relationship. Self care and confidence are hot. Your partner will be more attracted when you take care of yourself. Because if you are to be honest, you also feel more attracted to people who look good. When I say look good, I don't mean being a supermodel. I mean looking good for the shape of your body. Because bodies come in different shapes and heights. I can sit on my head, but I will never look like a supermodel. And that's fine. I don't need to be one. I just need to be healthy and fit. Point number 4, do your own research and experiments on nutrition. This is what I've also done in the past few years because in 2019, I had a severe burnout and I couldn't get out of bed in most days. So, although I was looking how I wanted to look, I wasn't healthy. So, I had to research and experiment with food until I found what worked for me. And I say to do your own research and experiments because unfortunately, most doctors are not properly educated about nutrition. So they give bad advice. However, there are plenty of doctors you can find online who have studied nutrition and they understand that we need certain foods more and less of other foods. And to give you a few examples, you can write these names down and research them afterwards. Dr. Eric Berg, Dr. Mindy Pelz, Dr. Philip Ovadia, who is a heart surgeon, Dr. Ken Berry, Master of Public Health, Sally Norton. You can find all of them on YouTube and their websites. And here is one thing. I am confident in saying all these things because I tried them on myself first and I saw that they work. I am not a doctor. However, what I have is personal experience. Point number 5. Notice if you eat only when you are hungry or when you are stressed, upset, sad, anxious, feeling depressed, lonely. Most people don't eat because they are hungry. They eat because they don't know how to deal with their emotions, especially women. By becoming aware of how you feel before you eat, you will be able to stop yourself from eating when you are in a bad mood. I highly recommend you work with a professional if you eat when you feel bad because you need help in healing the wounded part of yourself that uses food as a way to feel better. Also, some people use food as a way to reward themselves as they see food as a prize they want because, for example, went to work although they weren't in the mood or because they had a bad day, or because they didn't yell at their child, although they really wanted to. So pay attention if you use food as a method to reward yourself for the hard things you do. There's nothing wrong in rewarding yourself, but if you reward yourself every day with bad food, then there will be consequences. Point number 6. Stop going to the supermarket when you are hungry and stop buying low nutritious foods. Make sure you eat before you go to the supermarket because this way you will be less attracted to bad foods. I don't eat bad foods not because I don't necessarily crave them, but because I don't buy them. I never have bad foods in my house and I very rarely order them. Why? Well, because I decided I years ago that for me it's more important to be healthy and to look good than to eat what I want when I want it. Because you can't really have them both. And another thing that I want to add here, not all the things that we call food are actually food. And here is what I mean with this. The purpose of food is to nourish you, to give you energy, to keep you healthy and fit, to make your body strong and resilient. If what you eat doesn't do that, then it's not food, it's poison. Yes, it may be a delicious poison, but it's still poison. Because if what you eat makes you unhealthy, fat, tired, depressed, and is actually destroying your body, it's not food, it's poison. Fast food, highly processed food, products full of additives, unhealthy fats, and refined sugar are not food. They are poison. So, do you want to keep putting poison into your body? It's your body, and you get to decide. Point number 7. What's the benefit of you being fat? You're going to tell me, but Adina, I don't want to be fat. Well, if you don't want to be fat, then why are you fat? Is someone putting food in your mouth and makes you eat? No. So there is a part of you that likes being fat. And of course, this is not something that you are consciously aware of. Because consciously, you want to lose weight and not be fat. I know. However, in your subconscious, you want to be fat. Because in most cases, fat functions as a protection. This is what happens in your subconscious. If I am fat, people won't look at me. If I am fat, people won't touch me. If I am fat, people won't expect much of me. If I am fat, people won't desire me. If I am fat, I am safe. Many people who struggle with their weight have had some sort of trauma in their past. You need to understand that you haven't lost weight and you couldn't keep it off, not because you are lazy, bad, or there's something wrong with you. Because most likely, most of you listening to this have worked hard to lose the weight and get in shape. The reason why you can't lose the weight and keep it off is because fat makes you feel safe. Being fat is mostly a protection mechanism for the people who have suffered some sort of sexual abuse or trauma related to their sexuality, or they have been shamed for their bodies. This may be the case with you or not. But if it is the case, you need to work with someone who is specialized in trauma and discover the root cause of why a part of you wants you to be fat. Point number 8, yo-yoing, meaning you lose the weight, but you can't keep it off and you get fat again. This is something I've done in the past too. I would lose the extra kilograms and then put them back on. It was very frustrating. And this is what I can tell you about yo-yoing. You need to see that there are two parts of you. One part who is the responsible one, who is disciplined and does the right things to stay fit. And then there is the instant gratification part of you who wants to eat the tasty things. And as someone who has yo-yoed and who loves, carbs and sugary stuff, I can tell you that you can have both of them, but not in the same measure. Meaning, the disciplined part of you needs to be mostly in charge. And this translates in you eating mostly and in the majority of the time foods that are nutritious and that keep you fit. And also, the craving part of you needs to have its seat at the table, so to say. So, what healthier alternatives can you find to pizza, pasta, and cakes? And for this, I would recommend you to look into the keto lifestyle, the healthy keto lifestyle, actually. And you can find Dr. Berg on YouTube. He speaks a lot about this. And actually, you can make no carbohydrates pizza. You can find plenty of recipes on YouTube. And what I do to avoid carbs and sugar is I eat hummus, I eat vegan yogurt with blueberries, raspberries, and forest fruits. I eat a small quantity of sugar-free chocolate, 2, 3 dates. I like vegan sweets and keto sweets. So as long as you eat mostly good foods, you can give yourself some treats once in a while. But don't make treats the majority of what you eat because that is when you get in trouble. And I want to share another things about cravings. We crave certain foods because one, our body is not nourished and lacks certain nutrients. And those nutrients aren't necessarily in the foods we crave because most of the time we crave sugar. For example, magnesium deficiency can lead to sugar cravings, especially for chocolate, as chocolate is rich in magnesium. However, chocolate is also very, very rich in sugar. So you need to understand that magnesium deficiency can impact your mood. It can lead to depression and anxiety, which can cause sugar cravings as a means of managing your emotional distress. And number two, why we have cravings is that because we are addicted to certain tastes. For example, I love the sweet taste and I can eat a lot of sweet things. However, since I've switched my lifestyle to a more carnivore approach and I eat mostly meat, eggs, and healthy fats, and I supplement with vitamins and minerals, I am not craving sweets as often. So, if you are a sugar junkie, I want you to know that it is possible to stop craving sugar because, as I said before, your body craves sugar when it lacks other nutrients. So, when you give your body these nutrients, you won't have cravings anymore. Point number 9, put a limit on the amount of weight which you allow yourself to gain. For example, I sometimes gain 1-2 kilograms, which is 2-4 pounds, because my hormones vary throughout the month, and usually 7-10 days before my period, I crave more carbohydrates. As a woman, my main hormones are estrogen, which likes protein and healthy fats, and progesterone, which likes carbohydrates. And if you want to learn more about this, I recommend the book Fast Like a Girl, written by Dr. Mindy Pelz. And I have a rule with myself. I can gain 1-2 kilograms, but I don't allow myself to gain more. So I allow myself to eat foods richer in healthy carbohydrates for 1 week, but then I switch back the foods that keep me fit. I want you to understand that you can be in control and that even if you gain a few kilograms, it doesn't mean that you need to become fat. Just stop eating the things that make you fat before you become too fat. It's easier to lose 1-2 kilograms than it's to lose 10 kilograms. Point number 10, stop dieting and just decide to get fit and healthy. A diet registers in your mind as a delimited time period in which you starve yourself or you don't have delicious foods anymore. Now, who really wants to do this? No one, right? Diets are not sustainable because they are not pleasant. So stop dieting and decide to change your lifestyle. Changing your lifestyle means changing the way you live forever and for good. And just because you need to lose weight, it doesn't mean that you have to starve yourself or eat yucky foods. I said this before. I cannot starve myself because I get physically sick. So I eat how much food I need. It's just that I eat mostly foods that are rich in protein and healthy fats. And these foods keep me satiated for longer and they also taste good. Point number 11. You cannot avoid self control and self discipline. I know there are treatments like Ozempic and similar pills, and there's also the gastric sleeve surgery to lose weight. But here is the problem. All these medications have side effects, and in some cases, they can do more harm than they do good. And yes, you can surgically shrink your stomach, but if you don't change your habits, you'll either not lose enough weight or you will most likely gain it back because the stomach can become big again. And actually, a few months ago, I had a conversation with a woman who had a gastric sleeve surgery and she lost half of her body's weight in 1 year, which is remarkable. And she was telling me how she lost the weight after the surgery. And what she did is that she stopped eating the foods that had gotten her fat. And she was telling me about another woman who had gotten the same surgery as she did, but this woman lost only 10 kilograms because she was eating the same things that she did before the surgery. A gastric sleeve is not a guarantee that you will lose weight. It will help you lose weight faster, but if you continue to eat what you used to eat before the surgery, you will not lose that much weight or you will gain it back again. Being healthy and fit is about having discipline and self control. Would I prefer to just eat whatever I want when I want it? Sure, but that comes with unpleasant consequences. So I have to control myself if I don't want to be unhealthy and fat. Losing weight and keeping it off is both easy and hard. It's easy because you know what you need to do, and it's hard because you need to discipline yourself. So ask yourself if you want to be healthy and fit or if you want to be unhealthy and fat. It's your body and it's your decision. And as a last note, for the people who say that they have weight problems because of their thyroid, stop using that as an excuse. If you eat bad foods and if you don't take care of yourself, yes, your thyroid and other organs will start getting sick. Because again, some of the things we call food are not good for us, they are destructive. So your priority needs to be getting healthier. By becoming healthy, you'll also lose the weight. So focus on eating nutritious foods, getting good sleep, cutting out bad relationships from your life, stop accepting abuse and disrespect, stop overworking, learn how to calm down your nervous system so you stop being the slave of your thoughts and emotions. Because it's not just one thing that will help you become healthy. You need to look at your health holistically. We are not only what we eat, we are also what we think, feel, and do. This was a long episode, you guys. I hope you found it helpful and I wish you to be healthy. The truth is that if we are not healthy, our life becomes harder. And life on this planet is not necessarily easy, even when we are healthy, let alone when we are sick. Although I am not a doctor, nor am I specialized in helping people lose weight, I can support you in healing your blocks and stepping into the best version of yourself. So you create your ideal life. And if you're ready for this, there are currently two ways to work with me. A free one by downloading my 5 embodiment practices, which you can find on my website. The package for women is called Magnetic Woman, and the package for men is called Confident Man, and you can find the links in the description box below. These embodiment practices are designed to support you to step into the best version of yourself. And there's also a paid option by entering my one-to-one coaching container where we will work together on you getting clear on your needs and desires when it comes to your ideal life and long-term relationship, healing your past wounds so you attract a healthy person and you become a happier person yourself, dating from a place of empowerment instead of neediness, mastering your sexual energy so you feel much more pleasure, where you also become a much juicy lover, and getting the skills you need to create a happy and fulfilling long term relationship. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And if you found it helpful, please share it with one or more people who need to hear this. If you're listening on YouTube, please like the video. It helps me a lot with the algorithm. I appreciate your time and energy, and I hope to meet you again in my next episode. Until then, keep evolving, loving, and creating. Bye!